Otakuans, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another
Welcome back.
beautiful day, beautiful episode, beautiful life. It is Sunday Fun Day, and today,
Happy holidays, guys! Happy holidays.
Merry
Christmas
Christmas, I
just
guess.
passed. We got New Year's coming up.
Yeah,
Shoot, this episode might be dropping New Year's Day. Who knows? But happy holidays, everybody. Hope
oh,
everybody
let's
had a
go.
great holiday.
I'm the Grinch before he got old girl from the mayor
This guy.
right now. All right, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate all around the world. L'chaim. So
I don't know that
today,
one.
that's Jewish. Don't worry about it. All right, so today we are going to be doing, which I feel like it's been a long time since we've done this for some reason. I don't know why.
I don't know.
I mean, I know it's 12 weeks, really, 13 weeks usually, and that
Mhm.
is a long time. But sometimes, for some reason, I felt like they were just like quicker. Like I
I
felt
don't
like
know. I
we've
think
done
the
them.
winter season just feels longer. Like I don't know
Maybe,
if like some shows started earlier and then
yeah,
shows started later and ended later than other shows. I think
yeah,
we just
yeah,
have so much time over the winter and things don't start until the next year. So
yeah,
I think it's just more time, maybe a
yeah.
couple weeks more. Who knows?
That's fair. That's fair. Well, if you didn't already know, today we're doing our seasonal wrap up of 2024, getting ready for that 2025 season coming up, which we did just do our anticipated animes in a tier list for the first time ever. So go ahead and check that episode out after you like, subscribe, leave a comment, ring notifications, and watch this entire video. Don't worry about it, no big deal. But we are doing that wrap up for that. We do only have about 10, 11, 12 shows on here of our shows that we like the most. A couple on here I already dropped. You saw I've been sending you text messages for the last few days, me frantically trying to catch up after my
Hmm.
live action binges, and I caught up pretty well.
Oh, that's good.
Pretty well. There's a few that I didn't because I was like, I already said before that I didn't like this show, so let me catch up in the ones that I knew I liked, so I
Hmm.
can finish those out. And then if I want to go back to these, because there was ones I already dropped already, trying to go back to them, I'm like, ah.
Dang.
But then there was ones I picked back up because you even told me, which is going to be our first one that we talk about today. But you even told me, stick it out. Like let's finish the last couple or watch the next couple episodes, and then see how it goes. And then I was like, oh, okay, cool. And that's actually one that I caught up in today.
Oh, okay,
So
good.
so I really did like that one. But first, we're gonna hop into our news like we always do and roll right into our seasonal wrap up. So the first thing we got is it's really funny. I wish I had my wallet on me to actually show you. But a real life hunter exam is going to be taking place on March 29th, 2025
Hmm.
in Waterfront Park, Washington, D.C. And they got 5 stages. And it's going to be just like the hunter's exam, probably without the death. But, if
I
somebody
mean,
pop up,
I think it's possible. It's very possible.
it's possible. If I get there and somebody busts out they they gum shit, I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm not staying. I'm not doing it. If somebody's
Yo,
dressed like
why we
Hisoka,
can't
I'm
just
leaving.
talk about Hunter x Hunter? Why you gotta bring up Hisoka
I'm
and his
not
cum
bringing
cum
my
fruit? I
kids.
mean his
I'm
gum
not I'm
gum.
not
Oh
I'm
my
not bringing my kid. If I bring my kids, and I see somebody a bunch of Hisokas around, I'm leaving.
god.
I'm leaving immediately. But
Okay. Leave it
they
immediately.
do have 5 stages. Apparently, obviously, when you win, the last stage is going to be that 1v1 combat where you get knocked off a platform. I'm assuming it's kind of like a pugil stick
Mm.
match. Um, you do get a Hunter Association card, which I actually already have one in my wallet, like a real Hunter Association card, which is really nice. And
Where'd you
you
get it
also
from?
get con
A con.
the con in Charleston. Yeah,
Uh,
I did some stuff for it
you did some
behind the
stuff
booth
for it.
behind the booth. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Okay.
Pause. Push
Did
ups
you hear
and
about the
lunges.
round? I mean, the way they're doing it, like setting it up, even the rounds closely match the
Oh
Hunter
yeah,
x Hunter the exam. Like the
yeah.
first round is, I think they said it's like
Endurance.
a 15K.
Yeah,
It's
so they got and I'll pull it up here. I had it pulled up, but my phone kind of went out there.
I was actually reading into it a few weeks ago. But what I found interesting is how they're setting up because obviously people don't die. They're doing it in like each stage is meant to disqualify a certain
Oh
percent.
yeah.
So round one, 50% of the competition is not going to make it.
Hmm.
So
Oh yeah.
if maybe you're not a strong runner, and this is now for the people who may be interested in doing this, and you're hearing 15K, I think it's like 15 miles or 20 miles.
It's
It's
10 to 15
10
miles.
to
Yeah.
15 miles. So it's a good little distance, and you may be thinking I'm not a good runner. you don't have to run 10 to 15 miles. All you have to do is be faster than 50% of people. And you
Yeah,
could just walk faster than 50% because
yeah.
not everybody's going to be running. Some people are just going to be
So
jogging, some people are just going to be
yeah,
walking.
I got the phases here. So phase one is going to be endurance,
Mm-hmm.
and that's 50%. So it says the first phase will be endurance. The official distance will never be disclosed, even when you start the race, but expect to be 10 to 15 miles. Only the top half of runners will move to phase two. Phase two is deception, which is 25%. So
Mm.
participants will move on from the endurance to phase three, which are 3 rounds, um, and you win a game. It's essentially like a game. I don't know what the games are. It says the rules of the game will be explained
Mm-hmm.
on game day. Phase three is the labyrinth. Only 15% will move on. They'll complete a timed obstacle course comprising of physical and mental challenges. Phase four, only 5%, which is assassin. And it says you will receive a target and have a target on their head themselves. Participants must capture flags to protect their own flag
That's the
to show,
button
which is like
game.
the buttons. Yep, which
Mm-hmm.
is like the buttons. Um, and the flag to ensure their spot in the fifth and final phase, 6 points must be earned in advance. A target's own flag is worth 3 points. A target's their target flag is worth 3 points, and other participants' flag is worth one, just like in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And then your phase five, which is your final phase, is your one-on-one combat, and it says that's the one where you'll be participating and paired up in a bracket system. For 1v1 combat, you will win by knocking your opponent off the platform. And it says finishers of the Hunter exam will be granted prestigious title of Hunter, which comes with numerous exclusive privileges, access to a Hunter portal. So I'm assuming they have a website or something set up, like a kind of a social media thing.
Mm-hmm.
All access will gain entry to the private Hunter portal where they can connect with fellow pro hunters in the community and do future mission opportunities. And then you get a pro hunter badge, which is that obviously that badge. So
Yeah, I'm with it. And it's right
and
here in Washington, D.C., too.
honestly, if I didn't have like my back injuries and stuff like that, I would probably try to train to do some shit like
Bro,
this
you could do it.
because it sounds dope. I'm not running no 10 to 15.
Bro,
I could
you
do
don't have to
everything else.
run 10 to 15 miles.
You have to complete the race though. You
You
have to
have to
complete.
be better. You just have to be faster than 50% of people.
True,
And
but I also
think
know.
about the people who are going to come. Everybody going to come. Do you really
Oh,
everybody coming? Some people coming late, but they going to come.
that's
Just know that.
insane.
But no, think about it. Like if let's be real here.
Right.
Let's just be honest. Of all the anime fans, and it's just anime fans, not bodybuilders.
There's
Now
no.
there's going to be
We've
anime
seen
fans who
some
are
physically fit.
bodybuilders.
Yeah,
There are
we've
anime
seen some
fans who
physically
are
fit.
football players, right? But I'm just all anime fans.
Yeah.
Do you believe that you, in the current condition you are in, are not faster or have better endurance than 50%?
Oh, absolutely.
That's all you
But
gotta
but
do is have better endurance than 50%. You don't have to
but
be
I just
fast.
know
You don't have to
that
complete in a certain time. You just gotta
I
beat
just
50% people.
but I just know that at my physical fitness level, I am strong, but I
Mm.
still have with my back the way it's messed up. With I haven't ran in a long time. I want to be. This is something I would train for because I would want to be at least not peak because we all get older. I'm never gonna be like my 20-year-old self in the Marine Corps, but
Mm.
like I want to get as best as I know I could possibly get before I take on something like this. So there's not even a doubt in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Because that would be kind of dope to do some shit like this. I don't have a dad too. I'm kind of like going.
Hey, chill.
All right. All right. So next we got. So there's going to be a Santa Claus horror anime coming out. That's coming from the creators of Dandadan.
Mm.
It says it's going to be coming out sometime spring, fall of next year. But hey, Santa Claus horror anime. Look, is it Krampus? Because uh, you know,
For
I'm
one, it's coming out kind of late. It should have
yeah.
come out this season
If it
or
didn't come
the
out this
season
season, it
coming
needs to
out.
come out next December. That's when it should come out.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know. And then is going off the hype of the creators of Dandadan. Well, the manga. Like, are we talking about the creators of the manga or just the same producers of the anime?
The producers
Then I
of
don't.
the anime. Yeah.
Good for y'all, but y'all not about to steal Dandadan's wave. Like y'all produced the shit, but
I know.
Dandadan was a product that was already created. Y'all just did well at adapting it. Nah,
Yeah.
I'll see about it, but
Yeah.
I would
I'm
be
gonna watch
more
it.
excited if they were like coming next Christmas is
Yeah.
a Santa Claus anime. I'm like, oh shit,
Yeah.
let's see that. Like
Oh
even
shit.
Americans know better. Like they make our Christmas, the Christmas movies or the Santa Claus, Krampus, all of
Mhm.
them during Christmas because that's when people's looking for it. Nobody
Yeah.
checking for Santa Claus anime in April.
So Oda has confirmed that a new One Piece movie is now in production.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
he confirmed that the other day. So we'll see. I haven't caught, I think I've watched one movie with you, maybe. Like while ago. I haven't really watched any One Piece movies. I kind of don't want to until I catch up, just because I know they fit in certain ways, just like
Mm.
the Naruto movies do. But I just don't want to. I don't want to concern myself with those quite yet.
One
So
Piece movies are like Naruto movies. They're most of the time they don't have anything to do with the actual story.
yeah,
But this movie is actually highly awaited for. People have been kind of
yeah,
like theorizing this movie is going to be coming out soon, and people have high hopes for it. They
yeah,
people are hoping that Oda's going to kind of dive into some other backstories. So like maybe the
yeah.
incident that happened in God Valley, telling that story
Mhm.
with Garp and the Rocks Pirates and all those you may have heard about in passing. Like people are kind of hoping for that, but we
Yeah,
always hope for that for every movie that comes out. Like, hey, you're gonna give us some canon
yeah.
stories, but
Something great.
it never happens. But I think he himself announced this. Like he announced Film Red, but Film Red was canon, not
Yeah.
canon. I don't kind of explain what I
Well,
mean. The girl
well,
from Film Red, the movie
yeah,
wasn't canon, but the girl was put into the canon story from the movie being made. So him announcing that made sense. He's like, hey, this is my stamp on it, canon. So will
yeah.
this be canon? That's what people are hoping for, but
I mean,
I'm
it's
waiting
kind
to
of
see.
like you said about the Naruto movies, but however, with the Naruto movies, as you probably already know, is that even though they're canon or not canon, they are kind of canon because there's a place that they can be put in the show.
Mm.
So they'll never reference them at all in the show,
Yeah, yeah, of
but
course.
they're part of like what's it called? The snow one was like I think it was like two. It was like the arc between the Zabuza arc
Yeah, of course, of
and
course.
Zabuza arc, but it was like it has a place in the show
Mm.
everywhere it goes. So
Yeah,
like
they
that's what
don't
I'm
just
saying.
make
Like
it not make sense. They make it make
yeah,
sense in some way. Like, oh,
yeah, yeah,
this is a mission that we're going on. So like, oh, finally we can see a mission
yeah.
that Naruto's actually doing that
I
has
will
nothing to
say
do with his friend.
what's good about the Naruto ones is that, except for the last movie did fit into Shippuden. That
Mm-hmm.
one was canon. But I will say in the Naruto movies, they do reference the show sometimes. So at
Yeah.
least we got a little bit of that. But
You'd be
it
seeing
is,
spoil. I think probably Oda and Kishimoto probably do the same thing, where they will give
yeah,
you stuff in the movies that
yeah,
like, hey, this is a little Easter egg because you're going to see
yeah,
it
for the
one
next arc.
day
Yeah,
in the canon story. So that's
yeah,
pretty cool. Well, however it's done, like, hey, I love One Piece and I'm going to watch the movie regardless, but I kind of
yeah,
want it
yeah,
to be a canon story.
yeah. Yeah. All right, so Chainsaw Man movie, speaking of anime movies coming out,
Mm-hmm.
is going to now be led by the Black Clover director, which I'm pretty excited about. I mean, I think he's doing really well in the show. I mean, I know they went off script for a while, that's why it kind of canceled.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's a good add-on for the Chainsaw Man movie. Hopefully, the hype doesn't die down kind of like it did when the actual show came out. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. I think we should do a list of the most anticipated anime that like immediately fell off the minute they dropped. But
Mm-hmm.
Chainsaw Man would be up there. It was a good show, but
Definitely a good show. I mean, I've read Black Clover, and I can say that I actually like the anime as much as the manga. Like, and it's
yeah,
not because it's so well adapted. It
yeah,
looks amazing. So if you're
yeah,
saying that, hey, this guy who's responsible for that is gonna be over this. I mean, he hasn't.
yeah.
Was he over any of like the Black Clover movies? I don't know about that. So this is gonna be like a
There's
longer form. So
no, because Netflix did the last one.
mhm.
Um, and then there was one before that. They only have like two movies, I think. And I don't know if he did the last one, but I know Netflix did. Or I don't know if he did the first one. Netflix did the last one,
Okay.
which was still a good movie. I
Yeah.
still like that
Yeah.
movie.
Well, it is.
But
It's easier, and
yeah,
I'm like I don't animate. I'm not a producer. I'm not a director, but it's easier to create a 20-minute or a 22-minute product versus an
hmm,
hour and 40-minute product. So
yeah, oh yeah,
if he can replicate his success in the anime for this
yeah,
movie, then hell yeah,
yeah,
look
yeah,
forward to it.
absolutely. So, is it wrong to pick up Girls in a Dungeon? The 12th episode has been delayed until early spring for the climax of the faction war. I did some digging. I couldn't really find out why it was delayed, but that 12th episode is going to be delayed till spring. So, just
It's
unfinished
been
stories all
getting
around.
good, bro.
Yeah.
Have you
Oh yeah.
been? You been?
Yeah.
Ah,
I got High Dive on freaking Amazon
we
now, so
haven't
I
even.
just been watching.
Oh yeah, Amazon been holding like they got Crunchyroll on Amazon. Amazon sneaky,
Uh,
they like they
Yeah,
sneaky
but
sneaky.
we talked about Crunchyroll on Amazon before, and you can't search. They only have select stuff, but High Dive on Amazon has everything.
I mean, they're gonna
Like it
always
has
have
that.
more over time, but no, I mean that's true as well. But the fact that there's like, oh, I'm not going to bother saying trying to get all these titles on my platform. I'm just going
Yeah.
to allow you to access these other platforms, and then you got to pay them, and you got to pay an additional. Well, for some,
Hmm.
I don't know if it's all apps, but for some apps, you got to pay Amazon. And you got to pay like another $1.99 or $2.99 to be able to access that
Yeah.
add-on to Amazon Prime.
Yeah. They have like AMC, Paramount Plus, all that stuff, and it'll tell you up there additional $5.99 a month, additional $4.99, additional this and that. Yeah, like
Sneaky,
yeah,
sneaky. God
I got
damn
all
it!
of them. I
I
don't give a
bet
fuck.
you got
I don't
all
give a,
of them.
I don't give a fuck. I, like people be like, "Oh, you paying as much as cable?" And I don't have ads.
I'm
What the fuck
watching
you
what I
want?
want to watch.
Yeah, and I can click out of it and click into something else. I don't got
Mm.
commercials. I don't need it. Shit, I don't give a fuck. I got money. I'm gonna use it. I don't know what to tell you. Um, so I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to, but I'm waiting until it comes to my TV downstairs, which it should be coming really soon. Because we talked about when stuff happens like this, but there's a lot of mixed reviews on the Lord of the Rings War of the Rohirrim movie that came out, the anime Lord of the Rings that came
Oh, it
out.
came out.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were upset about the movie. I've heard a lot of different reviews on it. I haven't personally watched it yet.
Really?
I will. I was planning on watching it last week with a couple of brethren, but I couldn't. They just couldn't, and I had stuff to do, so didn't end up watching it. It was only in theaters around here for like a week. It didn't even like there was no time I could just like actually schedule it out a week in advance. It was only out for like a week.
Hmm.
I know it's coming to digital release on the 27th, so which already happened actually. So you could probably buy it in Walmart now. So which I'm assuming you could probably purchase it on Amazon in the next day or so. So
Mm.
that the problem is, again, we were talking about Red One. When something comes out that fast, they probably do really bad in the box office. Like they do extremely bad, which could be two things. One, people saw it, told other people not to go see it, or two, a lot of people just didn't go see it, and so they
Yeah.
don't know yet. So
I didn't
I'll
even know
see.
it was out.
Yeah, exactly. It dropped for like a week in most places and then just disappeared off the map.
Hmm.
So, and you know me, I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I'm deep into the lore, so I know a lot about it. But we'll see. I know some of the complaints people have been having about the movie. Um, like
Are they valid?
there's a couple that aren't. So like the whole, oh, it's a female
I
protagonist.
don't
Like,
hear it.
so who cares? Who cares? But then also talking about how some of the lore is wrong, and I didn't read too much into it because I didn't want to
Hmm.
get spoiled.
Hmm.
But some of the lore is wrong, just like the complaints about Rings of Power. Which, if you know, like the first season of Rings of Power was like
Oh yeah,
mid,
I saw your post.
and the second season was actually really good.
Hmm.
So the second season was actually really great. First season was mid,
Yeah.
but was still decent. I, being a Lord of the Rings fan, can just like I say anything about any fandom. If you're a true fan, you can say when something's bad and you can say when something's good. But you can also just appreciate just getting more content sometimes. You know what I'm saying? There's that
Mm.
middle ground where I'm like, Lord of the Rings of Power wasn't bad enough for me to be like, you wasted my fucking time. You could have made something great. It was good enough for me to be like, at least I'm getting more Lord of the Rings. This I like it. I'm
Hmm.
good. I'm good with it. You know, we know people personally who hated that show and said this is ass, this thing sucks. We had arguments on Facebook all about it. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But I don't care. I think it's good enough. I have all the books that matter. I still need more books in the series, but
Mm-hmm.
I got all the books. I got like I know about it, but apparently War of the Rohirrim is very 50-50 right now. So we'll see. I'll come back with an update eventually.
I'm gonna
But
try to find it myself because I wanted to watch it.
yeah, it's I guarantee you can probably either rent it or buy it on Amazon right now, and it'll probably be free. Well, I'm saying it'll probably be free in the next like month.
Okay,
It'll
I'll wait a
probably
month.
it'll
I'm not
yeah,
paying.
same.
Stop.
Same. Speaking of more movies that dropped in the box office, Sonic 3, banger of a
Mm-hmm.
movie,
I heard of that.
was number one in the box office in all of the US. And what's funny is there's a somebody posted on Facebook, very famous like page, said Lion King is number one worldwide, and everybody in the comment was like, "Yeah, nigga, because Sonic ain't
Because
dropped
it hasn't
worldwide
come
yet."
out internationally yet. I read that
Just
same
wait,
post.
just wait,
Wait
just
for it.
wait. Because if Lion King wasn't number one in the US,
Mm-hmm.
what makes you think it's going to be number one when Sonic drop internationally? And I
Oh.
saw it with my son on his birthday. Banger. Better
Mm-hmm.
than the first two. Better than the first two. Keanu Reeves as Shadow?
Oh, you
Get out of
Sonic,
here.
Sonic. But no, that makes me just taking a step back to the last one with the Lord of the Rings. It came out with at the same time as a whole bunch of bangers, like
Yeah.
Sonic 3. I mean, like if you were looking for the Lion King Mufasa, like
Yeah.
it's not fair. You came out with things that people Moana too. People were trying to see. People were expecting these things to come out for over a
Yeah.
year, and you
They
dropped
just.
it for a week
But
at
are
the
we
same
amateurs?
time. It's
Do we
that's
not know that the bangers come out in December? We
exactly
know
like
this.
you should have
We
waited.
know
You
this.
should not
Every
have
year
come out right now.
since I've been born, every banger of a movie has ever dropped in November or December.
Hmm.
Like that's just how cinemas line up because motherfuckers want to take people to the movies during Christmas time and like this and that, so they drop all their movies during Christmas time. So
Talk to
I
Demon
don't know.
Slayer. Demon Slayer know how to drop movies. they
Yeah,
know they
every three
know how
years.
to drop movies.
Yeah,
Shit, Solo
every other
Leveling
year.
taking a leaflet out of their book too.
My kids will be graduating middle school by the time Demon Slayer's done. So, but anyways, but Sonic 3, great movie. I saw it,
Hmm.
fantastic. I think it was way out of a lot of shows that have trilogies. This was probably one of the first shows I've seen where the third one is better than all the first two.
Is
So,
Jim Carrey
but,
still in it? I know he was in the first
absolutely,
one, so he's in all three of them still.
yeah. He
I,
breaks the fourth wall in this third one too,
oh
which
yeah,
is
oh yeah.
hilarious.
I need to check it
But
out. I haven't watched any of them. I'm sorry,
oh,
I have not
well, I
watched
haven't
any of
watched
them.
Lord of the Rings, and I'm the Lord of the Rings guy. So, um, all right, this one we knew it was coming. We knew it was coming.
Hmm.
Crunchyroll might be facing potential shutdown, which is something we talked about offline. Companies like Toei, Toho are mad at them for how they
Get
are,
him out of
um,
here.
yeah, how they are messing with their merchandise. We know
Mm-hmm.
about the lawsuits. We know about the leaks. We know about them dropping episodes too early, dropping shows too early. I mean, Crunchyroll. I mean, we also know that they are dropping things behind paywalls, making it so that you can't have multiple people on the same platform. Like
Mm-hmm.
just all this stuff. You
Forcing
can't be
people to get their higher premium
Yep.
subscriptions. Like I thought I had to figure out what premium meant today. Like I literally had to
Yeah.
Google it because I thought
Yeah.
I had premium, but I
Well,
couldn't
everybody
access
who
the
did.
games. And I was like, "What? Why can't I access the
There's two.
games?"
When Crunchyroll became like a big thing in like the 2015s ish, like or like actually a little bit later than that, but it was two subscriptions. You got the free one
Mm-hmm.
where you could watch show only certain shows, but and then the other ones had ads, or you had they called their premium,
Mm-hmm.
which was no ads, everything.
No
And now
ads
they
and
put
simulcast.
and it was like premium. Now it's premium plus, and
Mm-hmm.
then on top of that, just like we talked about it last week, we talked about One Piece. How now you can't watch One Piece for if you have the regular subscription where you pay. Now you can't watch past a certain point in One Piece. Now you have to pay for more just to watch more One Piece, which they they screwing up because what is Netflix doing? Netflix said, "Hey, we about to do weeklies."
Mm.
Like we doing weeklies on Netflix. So
And they giving you the best shows. They giving you
what I need
simulcast
to.
for the same.
Yeah.
I mean, Netflix ain't that much better though. Like we've talked about them in the news. But just to
But
give a
they're on
quick
a come up.
thing for Crunchyroll. So there are three different types of premium. So obviously, if you don't pay, you can watch Crunchyroll. You can watch
Almost nothing.
shows, but you don't get simulcast, and you have ads and blah 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 such and such. The, the next step up is what I currently have is the fan, which is still premium.
Yeah.
Fan, you could only stream it on one device. So if I'm watching it and then my daughter tries to watch it on her TV, it's going to tell one of us like, "Hey, you can't
Yeah.
watch this next
We,
episode
we had that
because."
problem.
And you also get like 5% off. After
Yeah.
that, you get Mega Fan,
Oh,
which is like a $4 a month bump increase, where you can just stream it up to four devices at a time. There's offline viewing. There's a Crunchyroll Game Vault, where you get access to some of the free games, and you get 10% off. And then lastly, you have the Ultimate Fan, which is another $4 increase. There's currently a 7-day free trial. We're
oh,
not sponsored, but there is currently a 7-day free trial. If you guys are interested, you can stream up to six devices at a time, offline viewing. You get access to the game vault where you can play all those different
yeah.
games. You get 15% off, and if you have 12 months of consecutive membership, they will send you a swag bag.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah. So
So money, 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 money,
2027,
money.
Crunchyroll's going to be gone. I
Mr.
want High
Krabs.
Dive or Netflix.
Look here.
High Dive or Netflix needs to sponsor
We
us. I
haven't
don't care about.
forgotten because Crunchyroll, y'all used to be a pirate site. Every time we talk about y'all,
Where
we
you
will
came from.
remind the public, you
Yeah.
motherfuckers used to be a pirate site. Now y'all trying to charge us damn
Mm-hmm.
near $20 a month just to watch y'all pirated shit. Stop
They
playing with us.
they motherfuckers forgot where they came from. They
Remember who
forgot
you are.
we made you great. We made you great.
Mufasa just came out. Remember who you are.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's
out of here.
insane, insane. But we'll see what happens with Crunchyroll. Now, don't get me wrong. I like watching Crunchyroll. It's easy to watch it on the TV downstairs, this and
True,
that. But
true.
motherfucker, if you start going out the way and High Dive start coming up and Netflix start coming up, I don't need you anymore. I
Mhm.
got High Dive and I got Netflix. What am I need you
If it's
for?
on Netflix and Crunchyroll, we know which one we're about to watch it on.
I'm watching on
The
Netflix. I don't know.
easiest one to watch it on. Like
Mm,
it's like on Crunchyroll has been taking. It's been so long. Like I've been using them since Funimation was the thing before they took over
mhm.
Funimation, and Funimation had a better UI than them. Like just
Oh yeah.
watching the next episode, seeing what
Oh yeah.
shows you're currently on.
It took
Then they took
what
them. I'm
was
like,
it?
oh, Crunchyroll's gonna now have that.
So
That
it
was
took
years
like
ago.
3 years for Crunchyroll to update on TVs instead of it being on your computer. Like on my computer and on the Xbox, they were updating their new UIs,
Hmm.
right? But on TVs, and it
Yeah,
wasn't just mine; it was on everybody's TV. The
Roku.
apps on
Yeah, it happened to me
TVs, they
too.
were still. It took them like 3 years to update the UI on TVs. Like, bro, what? Just hit the all button.
Just
Hit
hit
the
all.
send to all. Like, what? I don't know. I don't get it. But they've updated it. But Netflix UI is so much easier to watch than Crunchyroll
Hmm.
is. But all right, last one I got. So Solo Leveling was the only show this year that every single episode of its season received above a 9 or above rating on its episode, which is dope. I mean, that's very rare. We talk about how rare getting tens are, how rare getting like nines are on
Hmm.
specific season shows, things like that, and getting a 9 or above is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, just getting
Pretty cool.
110 is amazing, but getting consecutive nines on every episode.
Consistency is better
Was
than getting
every
10.
episode, in your opinion, a nine or above though? Because I have my biggest gripe when I'm thinking about solo leveling. What are the side characters' names? It's like
Fuck them sidekicks. It's called Solo Leveling.
solo is all about me. Apparently, I mean, like
Yeah.
it was great. I can probably
I think the
say
one
90%
episode
certainty that 90% of it was nine or above. But every episode,
I think the one episode that wasn't 9 or above for me probably, which doesn't say much because it's the most boring episode, but it's still a good episode,
hmm,
was the one where he had his rich friend buy all the vaults, and then he was just going in and out of the vaults, like beating the monster with the team of people that they hired to just
yeah,
sit on the outside. Like they didn't show anything in that episode.
hmm,
It was just him going in there with his buddy, defeating the dungeon boss, coming out, going to the next one, going in, defeating the dungeon boss, coming out, going in. Like they didn't show any of those fights.
yeah.
So that's probably the only one I was just like, I mean, it makes sense, it flows, it works, but it's probably
Yeah,
why it's
it
nine.
definitely moved us to the next part of the story, but I don't know, man. I don't know if I would have given it a nine. I remember the episode you're talking about now. Like I
Yeah,
remember even reading it when it came
yeah,
out. Like it was cool.
all
Like it was a good power play where he was like, "Oh, we're just gonna outbid everybody," and then in the end, he
right.
was like, "All right, well, you buy the rest of these," but then he's like, "I'm not buying anymore afterwards." So it was like, "Fuck you guys. I'm gonna make you
Yeah,
spend all your money for no reason."
yeah,
But
fucking,
I
it
wouldn't
was
give it a
fucking weird.
nine.
To the main event. All right, so we are going to be doing our seasonal wrap up, starting with our first show, which is the show that I told you that I didn't like and was boring as fuck, and you told me, nigga, take a second, take a breath,
I'm sorry.
let it play, let it play, let it play. You're sorry,
I should have never said that. I'm sorry.
really, really, okay, because I'm surprised, but it's gonna be
We're
good by Dragon Knight.
obviously on the opposite ends of this one.
Well, I'm not. Hey, first of all, it ain't an S. I'm just saying.
Okay, okay.
But no, 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 no. I'm just saying it got better than what I thought it was
Right.
going to be.
I got you. I
So,
got you.
Goodbye Dragon Life is about our boy Dorlan, who we already know was a dragon in the past. We spoke about it before. He was a dragon, ended up getting slayed by the hero, and got reincarnated as a human being in a village. And he runs into a mayor, layer, I think that's what they're called. I don't know. But a snake woman, a snake girl, I'll say, a young snake girl who's on a mission to find her husband, which is what they get sent out to do eventually. He ends up taking her in, live at the village. I originally thought this was super boring, slice of life ish, which I'm like, you like slice of life? It is what it is. You told me watch a couple more episodes, see how you like it.
Mm.
I watched the majority of it today. I think I'm like one episode behind barely, and it got better. I think I put it at a C for myself last time. I can't remember exactly what I put it at. To me, it's now a low A or a high B, because it's still kind of like yeah, I can't explain it. It's like like ha ha ha, like
Hmm.
let's but it got the action picked up a lot more. The action picked up a lot more. They're fighting a lot more. I got to see some of Dolan's skills. He still has that power inside of him from when he was a dragon.
Yeah.
And so he's still using that. And obviously, like he's, I think the sword play and some of the fighting is still pretty good. But it's kind of, I'd say high B. It's definitely a high B for me because it did pick up and got a little bit better. So,
No, I'm with you. I think I probably would also put it maybe high B or a low A. Maybe I'll get there probably by the end of my review of it. So now I remember having the conversation with you. It was you did say it was like slice of life, and I wanted to correct that it wasn't as slice of life as it seemed because the action was
yeah.
starting and he was starting to get his little adventure party
Hmm.
with those two other guys. It's just like you said. It was very everything's going to be okay in the end. Like
Yeah.
the stakes will be raised, and
Like
then
la la
it
la.
seemed like the stakes weren't really that high in the end. And then come to find out, he could just turn into this huge dragon guy in the end. Like the show was a good show if you wanted to look forward, like the relationship progression between
Yeah.
him and the
That's what it was
Leviathan
really
girl.
about. Yeah.
Like yeah, but we've seen those shows like you've found those shows where you're like huh, I think there's something else with this. You watch it and it ends up being
Yeah.
more than just a relationship. For this
Yeah.
one, it just seemed like everything was just circled around the relationship just to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
to here. Just so she knows that
Mhm.
he loves her. So a decent show. I'm gonna leave it
Yeah.
as a high B.
Yeah.
A really decent show. But I had certain expectations for it where
Yeah.
it just kind of fell flat.
I
Not
can see.
badly, it didn't
Yeah.
reach the expectations I had for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, the do-over damsel conquers the dragon lord. So this is one about our main character Jill. We talked about this before. Again, she ends up pretty much getting hunted down by her fiance for reasons that we already know because he's essentially in love with some other woman, and so he's trying to execute her so he can get her laurels and all this other kind of nonsense. She ends up getting sent back in time to the moment where he proposes to her, and then she ends up getting engaged to the dragon lord on accident, but she decides to stick it out with him, so on and so forth, and go over to the kingdom and help him pretty much not turn into the bad guy that she knew him as in the future. That's pretty much her goal.
Mm.
Um, this show was really good starting off for me. Something I kind of fell off from because it just kind of not, I wouldn't say boring, but there was just a lot of politics involved in it and a lot of kingdom this and kingdom that. And that's just something I don't really like. They didn't really show her powers. Like she's considered this war god, this goddess of war or whatever it is, but like you don't really see that ever.
Yeah.
You don't really see that. You just kind of so like it was getting good for me and then it kind of started going down a little bit. Um Still a good show, but it's like I kind of want to do the same thing I did with Goodbye Dragon Life. Like I think it's like a low A. I think it's maybe
Yeah.
like I
I'll
think
put
it's
it
an
in low
A.
A. I do
Yeah,
think it's still better than Goodbye Dragon Life.
yeah,
I think it's the same concept. This one had a
yeah,
really good story. It just seems like I felt blue balled.
yeah.
The whole show I kept
Yep.
feeling like I was being blue balled. Like they hyped up for something, or like you
Hmm.
said, she's like
The
the
war.
war princess or the war god.
Yeah,
And there were moments where you would see that she is pretty
yeah.
strong, or there were moments where you see that he unleashes his fury, and people all of a sudden like, oh shit, what's about to
But
happen?
he doesn't do anything.
But nothing ever happens, and it's just like
Yeah,
it's still good and cute. But it's like can I didn't finish it, and
yeah.
maybe it's unfair because maybe you just need to get to the 11th, 12th episode, and
You
that's where
shouldn't
shit
have to.
turns up. But I just felt like it was just gonna be more blue ball.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
yeah,
Like
yeah. You're right.
are you powerful? Show me the
Yeah,
shit that you could do then, and that's what I just want for it to do. Maybe it happens
yeah,
because you're not gonna maybe not gonna happen the first 8 episodes. I think I got to like episode 8 or 9, and I plan on still finish it. This is definitely not something I'm
yeah,
just gonna drop.
yeah,
But at that point, it still hadn't got to where I was expecting it to be.
yeah. No, I get you. I get you. I'm right there with you. So let this grieving soul retire.
Hmm.
Kind of disappointing.
Really?
So I really liked it in the beginning. It was hilarious. I told you it was super funny, which it was. It was super hilarious, super funny, and it still kind of was. And even the action and things, kind of moving forward, made it really funny. But to me, when it started getting towards the middle and the end, it's things started turning into side quests. Like it
Mm.
just turned into a side quest show. Like this guy doesn't like me here. This guy doesn't like me there. Let me deal with this guy, but then tell him that he needs to get to my level, and then let me deal with this guy. And then I'm sending all my people out to go deal with this magic or this mage association. But then and then it got confusing to where like the girl who was fighting them turned out to be his girl in the grieving souls anyways, and then but then now her sister knew, who was the girl that's always surrounding Cry, who's like really strong. They
Mm.
both know that she was the one working for the mage association, and then she's like, should we kill Cry? And then she's like, no, he's not going to order it. And like it just got like very side questy and very confusing, and it just was like so much stuff was like going on at the same time. And to be honest, Cry started getting a little annoying to me. Like he started like just over time, he started getting a little annoying. It's
Mm.
still a high A for me because the show is funny. I think it has great potential. The fighting is still great. I mean, whenever they do fighting and things like that, it's still fantastic. But that's the side characters. Obviously, Cry don't know shit. He's weak. That's the point. Like he doesn't. All he has is his relics that protect him. I think like one of the funniest scenes in like one of the last episodes, probably out of the last 5 episodes, was um, a girl that he was talking to. I forgot who she was, but she was supposed to be like strong, but or they didn't know she was really strong, but she's really strong. And he has these rings on his finger. They're called his life rings. And essentially, whenever he gets hit with something that's supposed to kill him, the ring disappears because that like it absorbs the impact and
Mm.
dies. Well, she was standing there talking to him, and then he was like, "Yeah, you can do this," and she slapped his shoulder, and she was like, "Thank you." And then he looked down, and one of his rings disappeared, and he was like, "What the fuck? Like
Yeah.
that was gonna fucking kill me." You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was funny moments, little quirky moments. It's still a high A for me. It's a high A because I think it's still a funny show. It just got like too much stuff was just all over the place. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? So that's
I'm with you on the high A. I'm not taking it back with it as you are though. You gotta put it down first and then switch it.
I got it.
Um
Yeah,
I felt like from our last conversation about this that you it was gonna kinda lower it in your book because
yeah,
you were kinda hopeful that there was gonna be something about him
Yeah.
and I've watched all the way to the end. Definitely finished this one. I liked it.
Yep.
And
Same.
there was never anything about him.
No.
But
Nothing.
the show is funny
Zero.
as shit. I think a good way of describing the show is we are watching his slice of life
Mm-hmm.
while the action, the shonen, and
Mm-hmm.
everything else is happening around him, while he's doing his damnness to remain as slice of life as possible. And I
Yeah.
find that in the show to be hilarious. I
Yeah.
would oftentimes trying to get Yordi to like try to tell her about it so she can laugh at how
Yeah.
stupid whatever just happened
Yeah.
was. Like
I would. Yeah. It's still a funny show. Yeah.
it's like, and it's so weird. I still feel like there's something because it seems like everyone else knows he's weak. Like everyone else part of his like clan, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
that guy, don't listen to him. He's weak. Don't listen to that weakling. Shit like that. But then they turn around and be like, oh yeah, of course he did that. He's intelligent.
Yeah.
He's the ultimate strategist.
Well,
Like
that's what I'm
everybody
saying.
hypes him up. It's like
It
what?
started getting confusing to me is because, and I didn't get this, and maybe you can like explain this to me, but whenever um his Steery, I believe her name is, that his mage girl that's in his clan,
Mhm.
and her sister were in the combat room together, and they were talking, and she was like, "Do you want me to get rid of him or kill him?" And she was like, "No, as long as Cry doesn't order it, we're good." So were they talking about killing Cry?
No, not kill and cry. I think they were talking about because that was after the incident happened, right?
Yeah, and she said he used the amulet of the gravity. He used the gravity spell to get rid of those dudes.
Hmm.
Remember? The dudes that were trying to beat his ass because like he's
Oh, you're
a
talking about
level
when the
7.
the other
The level
strong
7
adventure showed
dude.
up. Hmm.
Yeah, the level 7 dude tried to beat Cry's ass, and Cry used the spell on him to put him down. And then his two sisters were talking, his people in the Grieving Souls, they said, "Yeah, Cry used that spell, this and that." And she said, and then immediately after she said, "Do you want me to kill him?" And
Yeah,
then
I think they were talking about the level
she
7.
goes, she goes, "As long as he didn't order it." So does she mean like, "Do you want me to kill the level 7 guy?" And she said, "No, Cry didn't order you to do that." Is
Yeah, I think
that
they
what she
bought
meant?
the level
Okay.
7 guy. Like from
Yeah.
watching them, they're like madly in love with him. Like
Yeah.
both of the
I
sisters,
mean, and
and
that
and
black
they're
hair girl.
convinced, like the scientist one, she's
Yeah.
convinced that Cry knew the whole time
Oh
that
yeah.
she was doing bad shit, and
Oh
he
yeah.
basically like reprimanded her without reprimanding her type shit. So I'm pretty sure from that scene, she was more like she was gonna kill that level 7 dude for Cry.
I think one of the funniest things is like when the dude was like, "There's a fucking slime coming this way," and then they saw the giant bear wolf slime, whatever it was,
Mm.
and then his captain was like, "Christ said it would be slime. He's obviously doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about." And then the dude was like, "I think he said slime like,"
Slime like.
and he was like, "Are you
Yo,
fucking kidding me?
Cry can't do no wrong in this world, and that's what I
He
find the
really
most
can't.
hilarious thing about
He
this
really
anime.
can't."
He literally can't do no wrong. They will jump over hoops. They will jump through
Oh yeah.
fire to make what he said make sense to
Yeah.
what's going on, and I
Oh yeah.
love that.
Oh yeah. All right.
But
Well,
definitely high. I
yeah.
don't.
Hey, for sure.
This was one of my favorite shows from the season, so I don't know.
I would say same, but it just went down for me because of some of those things I started noticing.
I
But it
feel
was
you on that.
definitely there's only a few other shows that are probably going to be above this in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, all right, so Loner Life in Another World. Um, I didn't finish it. Only because it was one of those shows that it started getting really tropey for me. And when I told you and sent you pictures and I was like, I have to start binging and catch up, when I was saying there's certain shows that I just didn't get to first because I knew I liked other shows more,
Mm.
this was one of them. We've talked about Loner Life in Another World. Obviously, this is a isekai where his entire class gets isekai into another world. He gets a bunch of shitty skills because he's late. Our guy is Haruka. He's late to the isekai essentially, and he
Mm.
gets all these shitty skills, but all those shitty skills combined actually makes him super OP. And he ends up having to help out pretty much all these people. He builds like a cave with like all this, like all the night. He builds like a cave house, which he has all this nice shit. People keep coming to him for stuff, and like he's constantly in that cave. And I didn't finish it because it just got kind of like, what are we doing here? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Um, it'd be a low B for me because it's just I didn't finish it. Maybe then that's cut. That's why. But I mean, I'm assuming I probably would like it if I finished it, but I don't know.
I haven't gotten to like the last episode of this one yet. I think I'm on like on episode 10 or 11. It's cool. Like you said, it's very tropey.
Yeah.
If you're a type of guy who can sit down and watch In Another World with my smartphone and enjoy that shit, you might enjoy this as well. It's about a random Joe Smo. He's pretty
Yeah.
much an otaku in our world. He gets
Mhm.
isekai. He realizes he's about to get an isekai. He tries to avoid it because he wants to
Yeah.
be a neat and be lazy his whole life. And being isekai equals you got to do heroic shit, and he don't feel like doing it.
He don't
Well,
want to do that.
he pretty much adopts that ideology the whole time he's in his isekai world. I don't want to do this shit, but he ends up having to do it anyway. I remember we had a conversation like, when it first was announced, like, what do they mean he just ends up helping them, or he, like, it's like how
Mhm.
they phrase it was because no matter what he does, no matter if he tries to get away, they always rope him into saving them, being the hero. Like
Mhm.
he tries to go on a quest without their asses and still ends up becoming the hero. If you like these type of shows, you'll like this one. It's not a bad show. I would definitely put it into a B. Um, a, I'll probably
I
put it
wouldn't.
above the Goodbye Dragon Life though.
I wouldn't.
I mean,
Uh,
you really didn't finish it though.
yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
Goodbye Dragon
That's fair.
Life. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I'm gonna go back and watch it. It should be all in English now, so I
I
should be
mean,
able to
Goodbye
finish it.
Dragon Life is isekai too, but it just became
Kind of, not
it
really.
became too lovey dovey. I mean, he died and came and
In the same
reincarnated.
world. In the same world,
Was
though.
it the same world?
Yeah, same exact world, same goddess and everything.
Oh
Remember when
yeah,
he
yeah,
went
yeah.
up when he was sleeping and went up and talked to
Mm-hmm.
her? Yeah. Anyways, but all right, most notorious time. I'm gonna just go ahead and do that right there. I know you
Definitely,
agree.
definitely fan favorite.
So the most notorious talker runs the world's great or strongest clan. This one is about our boy Noel Stolen, and he is a fucking gangster. Like
Mm-hmm.
this motherfucker is gangster. So
Ruthless.
essentially we know about this show. This is a show about hunters, not like Hunter x Hunter, but hunters. And they are so just think of them as adventurers. He is the grandson of Garp. Well, sorry, wrong anime. He's he's the grandson of one of the strongest hunter or strongest adventurer in the entire world. Grandpops ends up, biting the bullet because he ends up saving the town. He ends up getting his skill. His skill is Talker. Well, Talker is considered one of the most weakest skills on the planet, but they don't know that Talker can do other things. It can make people do things. And not only can it buff your allies, but it also is like it's like curse speech. Shit yourself. Like it's like curse speech where he can just tell people to do shit and they do it. But not only that, he's also an evil psychopath. So it works out almost
Mm-hmm.
extremely well. And his goal is to make it as a clan. We see him with his first party. His first party doesn't turn out too well because they end up stealing a bunch of money from him that they were going to use to essentially like you know buy their way into being a clan because you have to have a certain amount of money to be a part of the membership. This and that. Well, he ends up selling them into slavery, and then he ends up forming a new clan with new waifu. By the way, they need to come out with a statue of her because she's just bad. She's an adult, by the way. Um, but he ends up forming a party with a girl. She's super strong. Think of her like she's like a Mara Leona. What's her name from Wrong Way to Use Healing Magic? All those strong female like super badass types. Like she's one of those, and forms it with a samurai guy. He's just picking up trying to make this clan. This show is absolutely fantastic. It's fucking great. Every time he does something, I'm like, yo, that's so fucked up, but good job. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to tell you. Like, and every time his plans come to fruition, you see that snake in the background with the eyes. I'm like, God, like this motherfucker is a viper. Like he's out here murking motherfuckers. He's like, I always get what I want. What you mean? And then he pulled old dude from the gang, like the team that he beat to
Oh
beat
yeah.
that level 8 catastrophe monster or whatever. Like he beat that team so he could become a clan with his people, and then
Mm-hmm.
he went and picked up the leader of that team. I was like, damn. But really, like you may see him doing fucked up shit, but like when you listen to him, he's not wrong. Like, especially when he was talking to the dude, he said, all you've been doing is holding your team back and holding yourself back. I'm gonna let you fly free. I'm gonna let you be strong because you in a gang full of strong niggas. Like you're gonna be able to do what you want, move forward in your life. Like I want you to do for you and stop doing for others at this point. Like yeah, do for the clan, do for the gang, but do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And the
Mm,
dude was like, "You're right. I need to fly free. I need to spread my wings." And so he picked up Old Boy. And this show's a fucking banger. High
definitely.
ass.
That I don't think anything's gonna be able to beat this one. Noel's a shit. Quite honestly,
Oh yeah.
Noel is the reason why he's amazing is not just because he's strong, not just because he's like really talented, and whenever he fights these level 8
Hmm.
catastrophe monsters, he kicks their ass. Not because of that. He's really good at his job.
Smart.
Like the strategist, the talker,
Yeah.
like he's great at creating these battle strategies,
Hmm.
controlling his teammates to actually defeat the enemies. And off the battlefield, he's a master manipulator, a master
Yeah.
talker. I mean, it's his job, but he's able to
Yeah.
essentially talk a fucking water balloon into getting more water. Like it makes no sense, but he's able to
Sell
do
ice to
whatever
Eskimos.
whatever he wants because he's always not one step, two step, three steps ahead. He's already acquired the whole stairwell, and you're now walking up his stairwell at this point.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Like you said, every time he does anything, it's like I'm not surprised, but how he did it was just so eloquent. Is like,
Hmm.
bro, I need to see more of this. I need to see you
No,
become the world's greatest clan because it's going to be truly the world's greatest clan because you made it such. No, you gathered the people to make it the world's greatest clan. I
I could
truly believe in him, just like the
I
guild
can see
master
it. Yeah,
does.
I can see him in the regalia, just sitting on a throne like Gilgamesh from Fate, just like, just like. A quick question though: the dude that he's trying to pick up that's in prison, was that his former team member? Was that his former party member?
Mm-mm.
Because I thought he sold his party members into slavery. So who's the dude he's been talking to that's in prison?
That's I'm guessing that's like another adventure that probably did
We
something
just we
bad
just
and
don't know about him yet.
yeah, he just decided
Okay,
like and thanks for reminding me. Like he just decides this guy's like, yo, you're going to be a part
he's probably
of
strong as fuck.
my yeah. He's probably definitely strong as shit. But he's like tells him from the jump. He's like, I'm never going to be a part of another clan again or another
Yeah,
team again. And he's like, no, you are.
no, he will be. He will be.
You are. Don't worry about
I
it.
love
You
how
are.
this nigga would keep going back to prison and updating him on shit. Just like,
Just letting them know how the team's
you
doing.
you part of the party.
I
I'm telling you
just
what's going
letting you
on.
know. I
So
think
I acquired this bad bitch. I acquired a samurai. I acquired a knight.
mhm.
Like I'm
Every
gonna tell
person
you.
he acquired outside of, I would even say, even the assassin, like she came to him, but
Yeah,
he still his accolades brought her to him and made
oh
her
yeah,
stay with him. But
yeah.
how he acquired the samurai and also how he
By
acquired
beating their ass.
that S class adventure dude, like
Yeah,
not even by beating his ass, by just showing what his metal is. You know what I
like
mean? Like
overwhelm. It's like overwhelming force. Like will. It showed him his
yeah,
will and
yeah,
like
exactly. Like because they made the comment like the talker is the weak when it comes to strength,
yeah,
speed,
yeah.
actual combat abilities. Is the
Which ain't
weakest, and the samurai,
right.
the one he acquired, is not the best, but it's one of the best when it comes to actual
Yeah.
combat skills, and he was able to beat him.
Yeah, outclass him. He
And
outclassed him because he's smart. He's smart. He also had an advantage because his granddad trained him every day.
mm,
Because he was like, it doesn't matter. Because I think there was one scene where they did a flashback. He said, it doesn't matter what class you get. I'm gonna make you strong as fuck. Like I'm
mm,
gonna make you fast. I'm gonna make you be able to fight, throw hands, like all this shit. So eh, he
yeah,
just outsmarts him. His battle IQ is higher than I've seen in a long time in any show.
that's true. I can't think of anybody who has a higher battle IQ. A lot of times people just be out there doing shit, just
Right.
throwing the strongest attacks out there, hoping for the best. But no, he's out there making things
Mhm.
happen. I love how it ended too when they defeated the that well, level 8, right? When they
Yeah.
defeated it, like you thought they were about to lose. Like, is this how we're about to end the
Oh, the level.
season?
It was the level 9 that
Level
they
9,
sent
yeah.
out.
Like I was
Yeah,
like, is this how we about to end the season with them taking the
yeah.
L? And he's like, nah, we pretended to be losing. What do you mean?
That boy
Oh
sprayed
man,
Axe body spray
it
and
was
killed that
great.
motherfucker.
That was a pretty good ending to the
He
season as well.
gave that wolf a Puerto Rican shower and said, "Goodbye, goodbye, nigga. I don't
Definitely
know what to tell you."
S
Yeah.
class anime.
All right, so something I watched. I don't know. You probably didn't watch it. I don't. But Terrified Teacher at Ghoul School Academy. So this is one of those surprising ones, right? These are one of those ones where I like just something just out of the way that I never thought I would ever watch. This is about our MC called May May. So essentially, he was a failed teacher in a regular high school. They I don't know exactly what happened to make him fail or make him a failure at that high school,
Hmm.
but he was a failed teacher at the high school, and he ended up being recruited by a high school that's up on a mountain, but it's actually full of yokai students and yokai professors, teachers, things like that, which are demons. Pretty much any of the ghouls, goblins, demons, monsters, anything you can think in Japanese culture, they go to that school because I mean our monster youth needs an education too. They need to learn how to scare people, all this other kind of stuff. He ends up finding out about that. Obviously, he's terrified at first, and then over time he starts forming a relationship with his class. We end up finding out that he is actually the strongest exorcist in the entire world. He just doesn't know it yet. He'll get mad or get like excited or he'll just like anytime he has a heightened emotion, he'll use his exorcism powers, which is why I think they're keeping him so close. They haven't really explained why yet they brought him to that school, except for the fact that because he's an exorcist and he just doesn't know it yet. He's been wearing I think it's a, is it a bracelet? I think a bracelet or something that's been controlling his powers. But not only is that just what the show is, but this show is absolutely fucking hilarious. Like just their day to day, because it is. Think about it, it's just a high school slice of life essentially, but with demons. But it's absolutely fucking funny, and I don't know why. And I said this the last time when I brought it up mid season. I don't know what made me want to watch this show, but the minute I saw it, I was like, whatever, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me just throw something on, and it was absolutely fucking funny. This
Hmm.
is definitely a high A for me because of the funny in it, and because there's no like I said before, and it still is the same. There's no necessary plot, or there's not necessarily a plot. They're not really going anywhere, but there is a little bit of buildup of him using his powers a little bit more, him understanding that he has these powers, things of that nature. So I don't know if it's going to turn into something that becomes a problem or what it is, but this is a high A for me because this show is absolutely fucking funny and because something I will usually never watch, and it was still a really good show.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I was definitely surprised when you told me you're watching a school show, like some off the wall show about school. Oh, where you putting it? Wait,
I think I want to put it
what
over
we
you
doing?
over Damsel.
For real?
Well, you haven't seen it,
I mean,
so
that's what I'm asking. For real? That's how you felt?
yeah, yeah, because it's just it's a good watch. It's a
Yeah.
good watch.
All right, I might have to check it out then. You putting over do over? I really like do over. Like I said, I need to finish that one.
We haven't really. I mean, you watch some of the high school shows and stuff like that, but you don't watch a lot of them either. So, like, I don't know how
No,
you would
I
rank it.
definitely watch them. Like that's probably
Yeah,
something I would have picked up if I was just in need of a shot. I've honestly been really busy this season, so
yeah.
I haven't really been watching shows like I wanted to. But it's something that if I would have saw like it was coming out and then I saw it come out, I would have definitely
Hmm.
turned it on.
All right, so the next one is I'll become a villainess who will go down in history. I didn't watch this. I didn't watch it last time, so this one's all on you.
Really, I'm surprised. This I thought this
I
was gonna be
didn't
number two on your list at least.
really. You said. I
I
mean,
know
you said that
bullshit.
there
I'm
were certain
bullshitting
things
you.
that I was like, I don't know,
I
but
know.
there's too many
Uh,
aristocrats, villainous, and appraisers are there's too many of those shows. I can't do it.
it needs to be. No, I've given the synopsis last time. Quick synopsis. Alicia is the main character. She was I
Yeah.
can't even remember how it started, but she's from our world. She was isekai'd into an Otome game. I think this was like her sisters or somebody. It wasn't
Mhm.
her game, but she knew about the game. Well, she
Yeah,
got
yeah.
isekai'd into this world where the only type of Otome animes that I do like to watch are the ones where they become the villainous. So
Mm.
she realizes, hey, I'm the villainess of this game. She has a good understanding of the storyline. She knows usually how these games work out. The main character, the one who's going to be the saint, is going to eventually expel the villainess. So she's the bad guy of the story. Well, she's like, okay, cool. I'll be the bad guy of the story, but I'm going to be the best villainess, the greatest villainess
Mm.
that ever will be. I'll be a villainess who goes down in history. So she literally, from a small child or from a baby, she dedicates her life to that persona. She makes herself
Yeah.
as powerful as possible in the game. Like she was strong, but she wasn't that strong. She wasn't supposed to be like
Yeah.
the final boss type of villainess. But
Hmm.
she pushes herself all the way to like the normal max and then goes past to like a level 100. Level 100 is like the strongest people in history are level 100. She does this by the age of like 14, 13, something like that. So she dedicates her life to being strong like a villainess. She also dedicates like her personality to having that villainous personality, like the ha ha
Hmm.
ha ha. Who are you to tell me what to do? I'm that bitch. I'm a bad bitch. Like I'm the
Right.
greatest, the smartest, the most the like I am the one who everyone should be bowing for whenever I walk into the
Yeah.
room. But she's not. But she doesn't want to be the like she'll say this multiple times. She doesn't want to be just a bad guy. She doesn't want to be an
Hmm.
asshole, someone who's just nasty for no reason. She
Yeah.
has morals about her. Like she wants to put people in their place when she's in the right. She wants
Hmm.
people to bow to her because she
Yeah.
is the most powerful. She is the most intelligent. She is someone that
Yeah.
they want to follow. So just setting the stage, that's who she is. She starts from a young age. She eventually gets to the point where she's like 12 something years old before she goes to Magic Academy, where she meets the saint of the story. But she realizes the saint is just one of those types where everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
I think we can solve world hunger by just giving everybody a slice of pizza, and then everyone will be happy, and there'll be no more war. She's that type of personality. She's like this. That's disgusting. That's she's retarded. Well, I'm not even going to allow her to think that way.
Yeah.
So the king of the land literally said, "Hey, because of who you are at this young age, I want you to be kind of like an attendant for the
Hmm.
saint to kind of like guide her in the right direction because she has these weird ideologies
Yeah.
about the world that everything can just be okay, and everyone who meets her just falls in love with her
Hmm.
personality and her charisma, and they listen to everything she says and never has anything against it except for her. So she
Yeah.
gets put on as her attendant, and stuff happens in between. Doesn't really matter. She eventually has to quit, go back because her father was worried that it was affecting her too much. She becomes
Yeah.
even more powerful, and then the real story begins where she actually comes into Magic Academy. Um, I think the story's really good.
Hmm.
I'm gonna put this just to kind of give it a grade first. I think I'm gonna give it an A. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of the A though, because quite honestly,
No.
I'm not that big into
Okay.
this type of genre of anime, but I am willing to watch specifically only when they're villainesses. I will watch
Hmm.
those. I kind of want to see like how they
You do like
handle
the
the
villainous
situation.
ones.
Yeah, I like the villainous ones. So first off, I'm going to put it as an A. It's not an S, but it was a really good one. Alicia, again, she is that bitch. Like she makes her personality, you want, like, she's not some, oh, I love her because she's just so cute. You love her because
Yeah.
she's so powerful and she's so
Yeah.
intelligent, and that's, as the viewer, the audience, you love her
Yeah.
character. And then
Yeah.
around her, like, we're in a situation where everyone is just falling heads over heels for the saint, and it's like,
Hmm.
why? Because she's stupid, and she calls her out for just being stupid, and her
Yeah.
ideologies are just stupid. And then we come to
Yeah.
find out, oh, she doesn't even realize she's been using this magic that attracts, like a charm
Yeah.
spell, charming
Hmm.
everyone that comes into her vicinity. But
Hmm.
neither here or there. The show is a good show because the main character is a really good main character. She has great depth to her,
Yeah.
and is she it's not just a villainous. Like, yes, that's a main part of her character, but she's also fighting the urge to be normal. Not, I don't want to say normal, to be normal in that society, to feel love, to not want to be the villainous, but to just be a normal, upstanding citizen in the
Hmm.
kingdom. Be like the spoiler alert, the prince of the kingdom, even though in the game he wasn't, in this reality, he's in love with her. But she's
Yeah.
like, I'm the villainess. I can't marry the prince. I can't have a
Yeah.
relationship with the prince. So she's fighting that urge because she's in love with the prince too. I'm speaking to the yeah. She's in love with the prince too, but she's also trying to be the villainess that goes down in history. So if you
Yeah.
like those type of shows, if you love those otome isekai type of animes, this is a pretty
Yeah.
decent one. It's not the best of them, but it's definitely one that I was like, oh shoot, another episode. Let me go ahead and throw it on real quick. I know it's not your cup of tea, but it's definitely one of your cup of tea. Check it out. Let me
Hey,
take a step
hey,
back.
hey, whatever, whatever. All right, so something I got words about. Demon Lord 2099.
That's terrible.
So I was happy, concerned, and then happy again. All right. So Demon Lord 2099 is about our boy Demon Lord Velto. Ends up getting beat by the hero. I already talked about this. Beat by the hero, ends up getting resurrected in the year 2099 by one of his loyal followers, lieutenants, whatever you want to call them, by one of the immortal people. We end up finding out that the world is different. Everybody can use magic. They have magic chips on the back. Think of cyberpunk slash demon lord style era, right? Everybody has magic little chips on the back of their neck. One of his other lieutenants ends up taking over pretty much the world. He's the one that invented the magic chips, that go on the back of people's neck, this and that. Demon Lord Velto tells him to bend the knee. He says, fuck you. Figures out that he's actually weak now because he doesn't have any more followers. People don't follow him anymore. So then he decides to start streaming because, I mean, a lot of things happened for him to get there, obviously, but I'm just wave topping it here. He ends up decide to start streaming video games like a normal video game player, streaming this and that. He has a girl who's good at magic hacking, help him set up his whole setup, his whole gaming setup. People love him. He starts getting millions and millions of followers, this and that. Those followers translate into religious followers, so that gets him his magic back, which I think is a great concept, especially because he was playing like a Dark Souls type game, which I think was kind of funny because he kept dying. Um, and then get into the conflict of him having to fight his old lieutenant. He ends up beating his old lieutenant with the help of the hero, Graham, who we end up finding out the hero is around now because the goddess, Meldia, loved him, which again, we find that this is like last episode type shit that we find out, but was in love with the hero, Graham. She wanted to bless him with eternal life, but she didn't know that he would be living in misery essentially for the last 500 years. But anyways, the hero Graham helps him fight his old lieutenant, beats the shit out of his old lieutenant. Fighting is fucking fantastic. But then, this is when I started getting concerned. I started getting concerned because one, the person who I thought was the big bad immediately got beaten, and so I was like, "Oh shit, where are we gonna go?" And then right after that, they end up finding out that they need a tome. If you don't know what a tome is, it's a book, holds records, spells. It could be literally anything. It's just a giant book, essentially. They find out that this book is in a basement of Akihabara High School, essentially, or Akihabara Academy, Magic Academy, whatever it is. I said, "Are you fucking kidding me?" And
Don't say it. Don't say
then I started getting concerned because I was like, oh, so now it's Misfit fucking Demon King Academy. Got it, right? And then after that, I was like, I'm gonna watch it, but I swear to God, if the last 5 episodes are them just in fucking high school, I'm gonna be fucking mad. But it turned out that it wasn't. So they end up meeting a girl. The girl had we find out again wave topping. The girl, spoiler alert, the girl end up having the goddess Meldia actually inside of her. She like her spirit was inside of her. They meet her. They make friends with her. This and that. They end up leaving the high school, so they only show like the high school like maybe once or twice, like which I'm so happy about. I'm like, thank God, because I didn't want this turned into Misfit Demon King or a fucking academy school. I've had enough of those fucking academy schools. Well, they end up finding out that the girls in her something was a little confusing, but like their teacher end up taking over the body of their principal, and the principal was trying to get the are they called regalia too? I think the regalia. So there's different factions
Yeah,
that
the
own
regalia.
different pieces of regalia, and they are the head bosses, or I guess you can call them like the yakuza of the entire city. Each one of them holds like the crown, the orb, or the sword. Well, the goal is to get all three of them together so that you can become the king of all of. I think it's Shinjuku. I think are they in Shinjuku? I think they're in Shinjuku. But you become the king of that place. Well, none of them obviously are going to give up the other one to the other one, so it is what it is. Um, End up finding out that girl is the one that has the orb inside of her. Her eye is the orb essentially. Well, they find that out. The girl who took over the principal's body to get all the regalia end up giving all the regalia to the girl with the orb so they can come together because she wanted to bring out the goddess Meldia so she could essentially destroy. And then we get some of the greatest fighting in then I think in the entire season of anime with between the Demon Lord and Graham and the Goddess Meldia in the last like 2 episodes. And I'm like, thank God it didn't go into just High School Academy Misfit Demon King bullshit. So again, I was happy, then I got concerned, and then I got happy. To me, this was a fucking fantastic show because I misjudged when I sent you that first text, and I was like, okay, I'm fucking pissed now. Like this show is getting too tropey. They're about to do Misfit Demon King shit. Like I'm fucking mad. But then they didn't do that. And then I think the last two episodes were fucking fantastic. Like fighting the goddess Meldia, like all the whole fighting scene and all that shit, I think was absolutely fantastic. And then he goes back to obviously doing his streaming thing, being super popular and moving into a new place. I don't know what they're gonna do after that, but I can't judge what hasn't happened yet. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So who knows? But I think the show was absolutely great. I know I don't know though your facial expressions are telling me that you're not going to agree with me, but to me this is a high A or low S.
Mm. Hmm. Definitely
Yeah.
wouldn't put into an S. Um,
This is high A then for because this show I think this show is great. I misjudged when I saw the Academy shit. I was like, I'm fucking mad.
See,
But then they
that
only
doesn't
did it for
bother
like an
me though.
episode.
Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
the academy stuff, all that stuff doesn't bother me. What bothered me most about this show is the tropiness of it. It just felt like so many different shows were just added together to this show.
I didn't really see that. I saw tropes, but like I don't.
I mean, like they were maybe saying just a whole bunch of shows added together. The tropes were blaring, and I can easily pick out where those tropes came from. That kind of like
Yeah.
translates well to this show. The animation in this show was bad at
I
times.
don't. I don't know. I don't think
They
so.
use a lot of just still animation. There were a few times where I found where characters they weren't walking across the screen; they were just moving across the screen like this as they were walking. And I was like, "What are we doing?" I guess they were putting a lot of their money towards those last two episodes. The last two episodes, I think the fights were cool. I think they were maybe A, wouldn't give the fights a S. At
They
I
fights were
had
great.
at some point I had expected like what's the show? Um, what is that show with See It?
Oh, Eminence and Shadow.
Yeah, Eminence and Shadow. I was at some point I was like, are we getting to that level of fighting now? Like I felt like we were about to get there because you remember the
Yeah.
one, and that was another trope where they were one person had to fight because they were like they had taken over and had all the students in the room, and then like the girl showed up with who had the mask over,
Yeah, yeah,
and they were
yeah.
all and he was there as well. It reminded me of Eminence and Shadow, that same scene from Eminence and Shadow, and then that translating
Girl that
into
looked like
that
2B.
fight, and then girl looked like 2B, another trope. Then that translated into their small little fight that ended up sucking. It started off really good, and then how it ended was like want want want. But I was like, okay, cool, because it immediately transitioned to
Mhm.
the main character's fight, and the fight was fairly good. I would give that fight a high A, low S. Going back to the who we thought the lieutenant, who we thought the main
Yeah,
antagonist was going to be for the show, that fight was it started off really good, but then it ended like he got the power up, like his big dragon form. Like I thought that was pretty cool, but
yeah.
then it just seemed so different, and maybe wasn't paying attention. It didn't fully. I didn't fully feel like I understood why there was just such a significant change in power and how he was suddenly able to
Because
disarm
people
or
knew
dispel.
him.
Well,
So the
I get
girl,
that, but how he suddenly was able to dispel old dudes because he was sure that if you don't have one of these, especially my advanced one, you can't beat me. But then he was
well,
suddenly able to
because
stop his
he
powers.
he didn't stop his powers. He was negating his magic.
Yeah,
So that
negating.
was a
How was he
power.
negating it?
I'm just saying that was a power that he already had. As
Hmm.
the demon lord, he already can stop people's magic from manifesting, right? But before he couldn't do anything because he was so arrogant in the fact that he had that little chip on the back of his neck. But when
Yeah.
he got that power up from all the people watching him on the screens and all throughout Shinjuku, like that allowed him to get that power back again, the power that he didn't have before.
So
So
the
that was able.
confidence that he had when he said that there's no way you could beat me if you don't have one of these, and then you still
Yeah,
couldn't because I have the advanced one, just suddenly. that just went away because he had
I
three
mean,
million followers.
it was more than 3 million at that point
No, it was 3
because
million. That because that was like the whole thing. He was like, I have
no,
3 million
he's
followers now. This is the power of 3 million. And then he turned into his big dragon.
so he said there was a whole point where at the end of that he said now my channel has grown to 3 million. But when they displayed him on the screen, everybody in the entire city was watching him.
So that was his
So
power boost
that
too.
was way more than 3 million
I don't
because
think I'm a
everybody.
fan of what of the whole followers equal. I'm not I'm okay with followers equal power because they did it in another anime before where it
I
was
don't
kind of
remember
like
that.
a joke thing. But remember that one anime that had the terrible
Oh,
animation, but
I don't
like
know about that one. I
remember
was
when
thinking
they
of the
they
one
had
where
to
he
use
made the
like the
farming sims.
yeah the farming sims one. No, no, no,
That
no,
was a
not
terrible
no.
animation.
Remember when it was like one animation scene where it was just the kid's head, like the teenager's head, and he was like on a farm truck, like a tractor in our world, but it was like a grainy screen, and he was just sitting there like, "Ha!" and it was like cutting the grass.
I kind of
It was
the
a
one I
show
was
like
thinking of is the
it's like
one
they
where he brought the goddess, where he about to die, and then he prayed to the goddess that he never wanted to pray to before because
mm,
he didn't believe in her, and
mm.
she finally came down and rescued him. But then they had to start tricking people into following her, like she's the leader to get her powers back.
Yeah,
That's
that
the
one.
one.
Yeah, the same
That's
exact
the
one.
same one.
Yeah, the same one we're
Oh,
talking
I
about.
don't remember that being a bad anime. Huh.
No,
Okay.
no, the anime was good. The animation was terrible,
Oh,
but
maybe I just forgot about
but
that one.
remember
Yeah.
they knew their animation was terrible, so they
Yeah.
used it to make it funnier.
Oh yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
because he put the John Deere tractors in the fucking in the show, and yeah, yeah,
Exactly the
yeah,
part I
yeah.
was talking
I
about.
remember, I
So,
remember that.
like, I'm okay with the whole follower thing. I just didn't like how the whole streaming thing was immediately. I didn't like that. Like,
I like that.
because I know there's like streaming animes, and it immediately made me think of that. I'm like, you're gonna stream to get followers? Like, how are they truly your followers just because they subscribe to you on YouTube? Like, they just people who
Well,
watch you play video games. Like, I get what you're trying to do. It to me it just felt like an ass pull. And then at that moment,
oh
like,
man,
oh, reach to the sky, everyone! Give Goku your energy ball so he can transform to his next. So tropey. Like, I'm giving it an A, high A.
I I can't put it down.
I put
I
it
got
over
I,
Ghoul. I wouldn't put over Let His Grievance Soul Retire though, in my opinion. But definitely, A. I'll
I
give
gotta
it
think.
to the second
I
from
gotta
top.
think. I gotta think of that one. Mm, I would say I'm probably so I love Demon Lord stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
love when it comes down to Demon Lord reincarnated or going to the future or I love so that's why I'm biased in that. Grieving Soul started to annoy me towards the end
Mm-hmm.
and Demon Lord annoyed me in the middle and made up for it. So that's why I want to put it above Grieving Soul because the fighting was better to me than Grieving Soul except for the girls. When the girls were fighting that was good in
Mm-hmm.
Grieving Soul, but the fighting in Demon Lord 29 was much better than
You
Grieving
find so?
Soul all around, yeah. There were
Okay.
certain scenes. Um, there was more of a plot. We didn't get two separate plots, obviously in Grieving Soul. We got kind of two separate plots in Demon Lord, and I'll give you that. But I loved the streaming aspect. I loved that. I think that was pretty funny, especially because we've seen how people act towards streamers in our world,
Mm.
and they're essentially like these people think they're fucking celebrities, they're fucking gods. People will line up for days and hours just to get a signature and a photo with these people. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So that's what I liked about that. They didn't go into that whole. I see some of the tropes. I see them. I
You
do,
see
but
all
they
of
just
them.
didn't bother me.
Yeah, I
They
feel
just
you.
didn't. They just didn't bother me as
Yeah,
much.
like
It was
school tropes
going.
doesn't bother me.
It was gonna bother me when it was gonna be a school trope. I was gonna be
Mm.
like, all right, so Misfit Demon King again, where a couple people around him know he's the actual Demon King and everybody else doesn't, but then he just beats people's asses. Like when he beat old boy's ass, the dude who thought he was like the strongest mage in the school, and then he had to fucking just like Misfit Demon King, where he went into the arena and kept killing that dude over and over again. He kept
Mm.
killing him and resurrecting him. I was like, are we about to do this again? But then
Yeah, but
they
that would have
got
been
out
pretty cool.
but they went out of it again. But that's because you like that stuff, right?
Mm.
But they went out of that and then finally went into the Goddess Meldia fight. So me, it's above Grieving Soul, like by a hair because I just like the whole cyberpunk, like new age technology
Mm.
type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And
I mean,
Grieving,
as long as you keep it in the A, I can
yeah, I'll
accept
keep
it.
it. I keep it in there.
But no, no S's for this one.
Well, and that's why I said it's like on the fence. It was like a low S, like on the fence, because I definitely saw that, and I because there was a point in the show where I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" That's why it wouldn't be like Notorious Talker. There was at no point in that show was I like, "Fuck, man, again." Like, are we really
I
doing? You
was
know what I'm
looking
saying?
forward to every episode.
Yeah. So so it's a little different there. All right, last two. Dandadan. Be honest with you, hands to the sky. I ain't finish it. I ain't finish it. It was kind of getting weird for me,
Mm.
and there was other shows that I just like. Animation is great. So talking about this one is about our man, our boy, and a girl who are in high school, and they essentially one believes the guy, the kid, the boy, I guess he believes in aliens, and the girl believes in ghosts, right? We already know the story. They both swap places. They say, "You go to this haunted place. I'm gonna go to this place where aliens exist are supposed to exist. We're gonna be on the phone, and whoever encounters one first or doesn't encounter, that person wins. The other person loses." Well, unbeknownst to them, aliens and fucking ghosts exist.
Hmm.
So they both get caught up. Old girl gets put in a very promiscuous situation, even though she's a teenager, and old boy gets his dong eaten by an old ghost lady, and she ends up get manifesting her spiritual exorcism powers or whatever you want to call it because her family owns a big shrine, this and that. He ends up getting his little dong eaten, but then he ends up being able to manifest the powers of the old lady, which is a little further in the episodes. This is just like the first episode, but a little further in the episodes, he gets his final form, which kind of looks like Dark Deku a little bit, but that's just me. But um, it's not a trope I'm complaining about. I just thought about it when I was watching it. But he ends up getting this form where he's super fast, super strong. He can like beat up aliens, and then they're constantly getting attacked by these motherfuckers. Like these ghosts and these aliens are constantly trying to kill these motherfuckers. And she's using her powers to control him so he doesn't go fully berserk, and he's trying to go berserk so he can protect her and this and this and this and that. Animation's great. It is funny. Um, I'm gonna let you rank it because again, I didn't finish it. I tried to finish other stuff first.
Mm.
Dandadan seemed very like not tropey, but very what? How do I want to put it? Not average, because average sounds bad, but it seems like something that like yeah, it came out just it seems very normal. It seems
Mm.
like very normal, like a normal show that would just come out. The other shows are more unique in a way that I wanted to watch them more. You know what I'm saying?
I
So
feel you.
I'm
I
gonna
feel
let
you.
you rank this one though. So
Dandadan's an S.
okay,
Dandadan's an S.
I'll give you that. It's not as good as
So
Notorious
the
Target, I'll tell you that.
question is, and this is where my review of it is going to come. Does it go above Notorious? I'm going to say no.
Neither am
And
I, but
honestly, I've been
that's
kind of
just
thinking
me.
about it. It's been like going back and forth in my head. I'm going to say no, and my reasoning is because, and this is also reasoning of why it kind of detracts people.
Mm-hmm.
This show, for one, Down and Down's a shonen. Shonen
Mm-hmm.
Jump Shonen. We know the audience for shonens.
Yep.
Don Don is a coming to age anime about
Yeah.
teenagers coming to age into their puberty, sexual prime, starting to date, have sex, sexual situations, all that. That is what Don Don is about. Now they add the sci-fi, they add the magic, they add all this, the aliens, they add all this stuff to make it cool as shit. And it does. Like this show, first off, the show has great animation.
Yeah, it
I think
does.
the show has great voice actors, both their English and their Japanese voice actors. Shout out to both of them. I think they're all great. I think the producers, like the timing, like what's the problem with pacing?
Pacing.
The
Yeah.
pacing is amazing. They finish things within an episode, and if it takes more than an episode, it's usually meant to be more than an episode. It's like a part one, part two thing. This is
Mm-hmm.
how it started. Next episode, this is how we were able to settle it. We are moving
Yeah.
through the story, and it just feels like you're getting so much amazing in-depth story, and like the situations they go through, like it looks cool, it's wild, it's funny, it's on edge of your seat what's going to happen. But when you take after they've settled the issue, they've taken care of the issue, if you take a step back and think about, hey, what they just dealt with, this ghost or this alien problem, from my big boy pants now, thinking about it as an adult, what did that mean? It actually has deeper meanings, and it's
Hmm.
all usually centered around the coming to age. Like
Yeah,
teenagers no longer being teenagers, they're young adults, because in Japan, 16, 17, they're adults at the age. That's how they see things. But
yeah,
these are teenagers now becoming adults, now becoming young adults, and this is their story. I think this is a S-class show. I know as a 33-year-old, I'm not the prime target audience, but I can
yeah,
appreciate it because it's fun to watch. It's
yeah,
great to watch. The animation is just
yeah.
animating. Like
That's
the
something I'm gonna finish.
movement is
100%.
animating. And then, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm also kind of biased. Both Zoro and Luffy's Japanese voice actors are in the show, so we also got to give it an S just off of that in
I
general.
don't know about all that, but
The cat is Luffy, you know that, right? So the
yeah,
the cat is Turbo Granny from the show, but I really like Dandadan. I would say the one complaint I have about this show, I finished it. Episode 12. There should have been one more episode. They needed one more episode to kind of
yeah,
just the finish. I think, and that's probably what would make this show or this first season the best the first season could have been if they would have just gave it a 13th episode and kind of like end the story better. It would have been better, but
yeah,
again, we got to remember that these animes are adapted from a manga, from a light novel.
yeah,
The story didn't stop just
yeah.
because episode 12 happened. It keeps on going. That's just
I
where
mean,
the animation studios decided, hey, this
I'm
is
gonna
where we
finish it.
stopping.
I'm gonna finish it. It's something I plan on going back to because there's two shows that I'm gonna go to while we wait for the first 5 episodes of this next season to come out. That's I'm gonna restart Doctor Stone because I already told you I'd do that,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna finish Dandadan
Oh yeah.
because I do want to finish Dandadan. I do. I just I was like Shonen, got it, cool. Moving. Let me go watch something more unique. You
And
know what I'm
it's
saying? But
definitely shonen. Definitely shonen.
yeah.
And it's not like they're in school. They are in school. They're teenagers,
Mhm.
but it's not
Oh
centered around school. So
oh, yeah.
don't let that
Oh, I
worry
know.
you either.
I think I'm like 4 episodes in, so like I've noticed that. I'm cool with that.
I
You know what
think
I'm
you're really
saying?
going to
That's
enjoy this one. I really do
yeah.
think
So
you're really going to enjoy this one. And then you might have to tell me, where do you put it? Is it you still keeping it as an S? You think it's above Talker? Right now, I'm
first
only
four
keeping it because
eps,
I know Talker is more targeted at me versus Don and Don. Only reason why.
first 4 episodes, I'll probably put it in an A.
No, no, no. I
Um,
mean, after you finish it, let
oh,
me
after
know
I finish it, okay,
where you
I'll
put it
let you
after you
know.
finish. I'm
Oh,
pretty curious because
I'll let
Don
you
and
know.
Don is definitely a hot topic. Like we've had a
Yeah,
question of the week when we talked about some of the hot topic items surrounding Don and Don. It's definitely
some
one of the
people.
better
Yeah,
shows from 2024.
yeah. All right, we'll go ahead and do that. All right, so
It didn't get
Mecha
better.
Uday, Mecha Uday. It is the PG parasite with mechanical arms instead of parasites. That's all I'm gonna say. It is something that my 7-year-old can watch.
Okay.
It would be a show that I would expect to see him watching on his tablet.
Mm,
I mean, it's cartoony, it's kiddish. Don't get me wrong. I think I said this last time. It would be better if it was more violent, but it's just a kid. It's designed to
for a
be
younger
a
audience,
young, like I mean, preteen
like
kids,
12,
like
13, 14.
yeah, like 12, maybe
Mm.
12-year-old, like not even 12-year-old, like maybe even like I said, my 7-year-old is
Your
something that
7-year-old can watch this.
he would probably find it pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it's literally Parasite, but with like downgrade the violence by 90% and then put mechanical arms in there instead of Parasite.
Shonen Parasite. I
And
love it.
the mechanical arms don't take over humans because like I said, downgrade the violence 90%. They live with them. They cohabitate with their
Oh,
people.
I love that for
Yeah,
them.
yeah. So I dropped it. It's just not. I'm just
Didn't
like
finish it,
I'm like cool.
but
And
it was a decent kid show though, right?
like it's so cute. Oh, you're sleeping with you're eating lunch with your mechanical arm. That's so
Oh
cute.
my word.
Like, oh,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I kind of saw like the art for it, and I got like that Yu-Gi-Oh GX type
yes,
art, and I'm like,
yes.
I'm good.
Don't get me wrong, the animation and the fighting is pretty on point. Think of
Yeah,
like
cool.
any cool Cartoon Network like fighting show. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? Like super dope, cool, but like, I need blood, dude. Like, I need violence. Like, what are we doing? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I'm a
This
jaded
is
individual. I need
blood
somebody dying.
blood for the blood god. Like, I need something, you know.
Blood for the blood
But
god.
it's fucking, it's just a kid show, and I dropped it. I was like a few episodes behind, like few episodes from finishing it, and I'm just
Mm.
like, meh. Like, there's a couple other shows like that it reminds me of, but these shows have are more in depth and have more violence in them. Thinking of like, um, oh my gosh, I literally just had it in my brain. Um, oh, I forgot what. There's like this. There's a samurai Shaman King. Shaman
Shaman
King is
King.
one. Shaman King is one.
Mm.
Um, Eden Zero. And there's another one that's like a samurai one. I forgot what that one's called, but like where they have to get swords from a mountain and they want the strongest swords. I forgot what it was called, but those are like the three shows it reminds me of. But all three of those shows have more like violence and more situations and adventures than this. This is like a kid that
Even Shaman
and
King. I always thought Shaman King was probably for a younger audience as well.
Shaman King. Yeah, well, that's why I said those three shows are meant for younger audiences.
Mm.
They just have much more in it. You know, Shaman King is very big Hunter x Hunter vibes.
Mm.
If you really take a step back and look at Shaman King as a whole, you're like it kind of gives a lot of Hunter x Hunter vibes in there.
Yeah.
But it's they have more violence and more just more content and more like just more shit for you to actually like pay attention to. This one is just basic. It's so basic, and I just like I can't.
I'm with it.
I
I'm
don't
with
really
it.
want. Something I literally showed my son, my oldest son. I was like, "Hey, you probably like watching this," and he was like, "Oh yeah, cool, Dad." Like I'm sure he'll watch it eventually.
Okay. So
Um,
community note.
yeah,
Though it's in a D, it's for kids, and that's why you are putting it in a D.
yes,
For our
because
age group, probably not. But for your
probably not.
sons, your daughters,
Yeah,
maybe, go
yeah.
ahead, put it on.
Go ahead, put it on. And it's
Bet,
definitely
bet, bet.
definitely designed for a younger boy audience, like a
Mm.
younger boy audience, like be on PBS Kids,
I don't like
bro.
that.
That'd be some shit that'd be on at like 7 a.m. between Pokemon and Digimon before you get out
Oh
of bed.
no.
I swear, I'm
This
not
is
even
on the
kidding.
Pokemon Digimon block. Oh no, this ain't it then.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, I'm sure it's a great show for kids, but
yeah, yeah. I
it's
mean,
not for
no
us.
cussing, no titties, no blood, just
Oh
a
no,
show. It's a
watching
show.
censored anime. I don't like that.
It's not even censored. There's nothing to censor.
It's not censored.
There's not. They're high schoolers. I don't know what to tell you.
It's just
Uh,
oh no.
yeah. Anyways, all right, cool. Well, we got a lot of A's, couple S's, one D, two B's. Um, Definitely different from the last time we ranked them. I think we still had a lot of A's last
Mm-hmm.
time too, but this season was a little disappointing. I'll be honest. The season, like, if you just think in a whole, as a whole, this season was a little bit more disappointing than I would have liked it to be.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm not,
it,
and it's not to say like this may this like looking at this the S the A the B, you may think, wow, this season was actually
yeah,
pretty good, but we're saying that the story, just being as forgiving as we can, the story,
yeah,
you can consider this an A. Now, we
yeah,
know everything isn't our cup of tea, but we're able to
yeah.
look at it with an objective eye and say, okay, this is fairly good or this is shit.
I mean, but to be fair,
Objectively.
also to be fair, y'all, we're grading this for us. Like, yeah, we're telling you about the story, and if it is your slice of pie or whatever you want to call it, but like this is where we're putting them because this is how we feel about them. So you may love Mecha Ude, maybe you just love that type of shit. That's a S tier anime for you. Maybe you hated Dandadan. You because there's people on the internet that hate Dandadan, like
Yeah, yeah,
hate it.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
So so but this is where we're putting it and where
Mm,
we think that we have enough knowledge of anime to say that this is what we consider
yeah.
this show to be. But next season looks like it's a little bit more stacked. Again, now we finally get a little bit of a break so we can finish some shows out or go watch some other stuff that we want to watch and this and that
Got
so
to
we
finish
can
those returners because the returners were killing it this year.
yeah,
You
there's
got,
some
you
stuff
got.
I
Is it
still
Ron
need
to
to
pick up?
finish.
Well, we got to wait for that one to come back. But we got
Yeah,
Albert Fuerta. Did you?
I haven't even started that one yet.
You haven't really?
Bro, I've been first of all, one I already told you I watched three Star Trek shows and in a matter of 2 months.
I watched
Then I
everything
have
Star Trek Mick came out with since 2000.
yeah, well no, I have not because those shows were kind of garbage. But 2022,
Okay.
2023. But and then I watched a bunch of live action shows, and a lot of new seasons of things were coming out for live action shows that I've been waiting on.
Mm.
Speaking of, oh my god! Speaking of, before we wrap this up, Castlevania Nocturne new season's coming out.
Mm.
Already announced on Netflix.
Yeah, I
I
saw that.
cannot fucking wait. That's the I will drop whatever I'm doing when that season drops to watch that show.
I
I will
need to
drop.
finish the first season.
Yeah, yeah. The first season, the first show. They're two different shows.
No, no, no. I
There's
finished the first show. I need to
Oh, you
finish.
haven't watched Nocturne the first
Yeah, I
season?
haven't watched the first season of Nocturne yet. Like
You
I had just barely finished the third season of the original Castlevania,
fifth, but yeah, I
or fifth
think
season.
there's like
Probably
yeah,
like maybe right as this
or
like
third.
season of anime started. So
Yeah,
I just haven't picked it up yet.
watch it. Throw on pause. Absolute fucking pause.
Okay, okay.
Um, I'm look, I'm all about it. So I just can't wait. But
What's
anyways,
his name? Trevor? Or Trevor was
Trevor
in the original one.
Trevor was the original one. His great grandson uh is it Victor?
Noah. Victor?
Something. I don't know. Maybe
Something
I'm
like
wrong.
that. Well,
Something
he
like
got
that.
the pause. All I know is he
Yeah,
be throwing
I forgot.
hands.
I forgot. Anyways, but that wraps it up for today, guys. We appreciate it. Obviously, we're gonna wait another five. Well, it'll be probably like 6 weeks because the new shows haven't even started yet.
Mhm.
So we're gonna catch up on this anime. We'll see you. We'll see you in the next one. We appreciate it. We love you guys. This is have Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, L'chaim, whatever you want to call it. Happy New Year. We love you. We'll see you next time. Peace out.
Peace.